What happened? This thing just all of a sudden lost. Just died. Wow. Okay. I'll have to go without it. I hope it's okay. Shlomo, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes, Rabbi.
Okay. I don't know. Something's wrong with the microphone. It's not working.
It's clear.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Okay, we continue now in the Sefer B'Yam Darkecha. We are on page Samachay, and we're going through the actual avoda of what you should be thinking about. And we've already done the first two stages. First stage is to think about how Hashem is the great and awesome king who rules over everything, and I accept upon myself to do everything that he tells me. And we gave you the specific formulation of the Yud Hey Vav Hey for that. And we said the power of those names can bring a person to have a clearer feeling. The next stage we said is to feel that Hashem is here right next to me. He's worried about me. He loves me. And I love him. And I want to be close to him. And you also have feelings of fear. And we gave you the formulation of how the Yud Hey Vav Hey is spelled that way. Okay, so we've passed the first stage where God's our king. Second, where God is our family, so to speak. Now we're on Gimel. And the third step, Yala Lahargish Bitul Hayesh. Now we ascend to feel the nullification of self. We reflect how Hashem made everything. And his great wisdom and power that he has. And then to reflect on the very minimal power of the created being. For example, as the Mission Pirkei Avos says, Me'ayim basa, where have you come from? A putrid drop. The main thing to think about, the Yamik Laharkish, feel deeply, and to feel and sense how Hashem is giving me life at this moment. And my whole existence in life is only because Hashem is pumping life into me. And the electricity, the power surge of light of Hashem is inside of me. The Yavanin should understand Shem came. If that's the case, and he's doing everything, I have no self-importance at all. I'm not worth anything. I'm like a baby, newborn baby next to his mommy. And a servant next to his master, which isn't considered anything in and of its sense, in their presence. And in the midst of that pleasant thought, look, he calls it a pleasant thought. You ask a newborn baby if he or she is happy, they're going to say very happy. Even though they know that we're thinking. So when you're having a pleasant thought, Yachshov, you should be thinking, moving on to the next page. B'mocho, what letters of Hashem? Shem, Havaya, B'milui, Kazeh. The fulfillment of Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, where now we're using the Yuds as being this center part. Before it was the Hey and the Aleph were the central things. So there's a combination. There's some Alephs there, but a lot of Yuds, the Heys and then a Yud. Okay. Umadregas u'ha'adam margish, and on this level, a person feels bitul hayeshus mitzad echad. On the one hand, he feels the nullification of his somethingness on the one hand, and mitzad shein, the other hand, shuka gedol makor chiyuso, great yearning to go to the source of his existence, which is Hashem. Because he feels that Hashem is his whole life. And he yearns to be incorporated in that. Kigmul hameshtokek lischabe biyad imo, like the nursing child yearns to be concealed in the arms of his mother. That's what you have to feel. So a good thing might be, you take some deep breaths. Just take a deep breath. That all came from Hashem. If Hashem wouldn't give me that breath, I'd be dead. That's it. And I did nothing on my own. So I'm very happy to be connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just like a person who's gasping for breath feels connected to the respirator. We never think to leave the respirator. So you never want to think to leave Hashem. And when you have the focus on the specific formulation of the Yud Hey Vav Hey, that will help you to incorporate that. Dalet. And afterwards, Yala Lahargish Beetle B'Metzius. Now you want to elevate to feel the total nullification of existence. To feel how all this is only God's life, everyone according to their ability. Everything is only filled with divine light. But and a person melts and is nullified within that. And you have to feel like you are drawn within the light. Mirov shehuchai es mitziosov, because he lives in that reality. V'nimas bo. It was just like a ray of light. Knows exactly where it came from. It came from the sun. Okay, so that's the same thing. Faseder, so what's the order of doing that? You first have to invest a lot of reflection on the reality of Hashem. Then you have to think to nullify yourself into that light. Until he senses that he doesn't sense anything about himself. But he melts and is incorporated into the great light, which is Hashem, which is the only thing that is found. Now, he puts an important footnote here. He says, when we talk about feeling the light of Hashem, don't visualize a light, like there's light in the world. The concept of light is it really is a statement of spiritual existence. That's what light means. It means you have to feel Hashem's existence, and the flow of life that he directs into creatures. Though we're thinking about spiritual things, but still, but the seichel knows this. The heart feels it. So don't get visions of light. Don't start looking for beams of light here and there. Light is just the expression of spiritual. Just like light, you can't touch. So you can't touch spirituality, but it exists. And that's the concept of this light, which means you have to feel that the light of Hashem surrounds you, as it were. And he's surrounded by a loving light. You feel the light so strongly. And you have such a great recognition of his existence and his greatness. Till you feel that only the light of Hashem is his existence. And the person has no metzius at all. And to feel how the light is literally melting him. And he's nullified totally in the light of Hashem from the great feelings. It's something you have to be in tune to that reality. We'll talk more about this. The Erev Shabbos class is going to get more and more into this idea. There are certain realities that exist regardless if you recognize it or not. Your choice is to get on board, to get on the train, and to sense that which your soul already knows. Right? And that is possible. And you also have to nullify yourself according to its parts. First you say, I don't have any individual desires. I have no selfish needs. It's all nullified to Hashem. That's the first thing you think about. I don't care about anything, only what Hashem wants. Then you add on, Shein lo shum machshava. I really don't have any thoughts other than what Hashem wants me to think. And then to finish Shein lo shum margosh, I don't even have any feelings. El kol zarak Hashem yisbarach. That's only to Hashem. Now again, that doesn't mean you're not a person with feelings, but it's only the feelings that Hashem wants you to feel. It's divine feelings. There's no feelings of jealousy, but there's feelings of compassion for a Jew who needs help. Right? So that it's not my feelings, it's the feelings Hashem wants me to have. I think, I feel only what Hashem wants, thinks, and feels. Until he gets where he feels that you don't exist at all. Because of the great feeling of the greatness of Hashem's reality. And what Yud Kei Vav Kei combination, it's now Yud Hey Vav Hey. The Yud has never changed. The Hey has got the Yuds again, 2 Yuds, and the Vav is Vav Yud Vav. It changes from this one, which is Vav Aleph Vav. So each one's just a subtle difference over there. But what the main thing is, lahargish b'kol kolcho esor Hashem yisbarach, to feel with all your might the light of Hashem, that spirituality. And to be resting in His reality. He's everything. Till he doesn't feel himself at all. And if he wants to think about himself, yargish ki'ulu stam chafetz munach. You should consider like an object that's just lying there, like an empty vessel. When you're in that state, you're in a state of rest. And even if you're doing things, it's like it's happening by itself. Because he almost doesn't feel himself at all. Because he is resting truly in divinity reality. Okay, this is way, way up there. This is the end of the line. So, we can't imagine that we could ever feel that way, but that's what he's saying you can. It's like totally realizing that you have nothing to offer. But then again, you do, because you're going to do things for Hashem. But the self has been removed. Yeah.
So it's hard to conceptualize. We can say it's okay to say I'd like a rib steak, but can we? Because I crave a rib steak. But can we say? But do we have to say, for instance, Hashem created a cow so that we could enjoy the rib steak. But on the other hand, we have cravings, right? So you can achieve it directly to Hashem, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Remember, okay, you're talking about rib steaks and cravings. For those who can't hear back there.
Yes, Rabbi, question.
Hang on, Shlomo. I'm dealing with Rick's question, then I'll take your question first. So what's essentially bothering you that God gave you a craving for food?
Right.
So that drops us back. That's good. We're overlapping. That's very good. So let's go back to eating. You're not hungry for a rib steak. You're just hungry. Let's understand. The natural part of you is hunger.
Right.
The klipa says rib steak.
Right.
So the idea is you are totally connected to Hashem. The klipa has no address. The klipa, what do I need? What do I want a rib steak for? I don't need it at all. How is that enhancing my avodas Hashem? So when it's a Korban Pesach and you got to have a piece of sheep, that's a good piece of meat too. Okay, Hashem wants me to eat it. I'm going to eat it. But you have hunger. The hunger is only so you can reveal the divine light. Oh, it's time to reveal Hashem. It's time for you to connect with Hashem. So what do I need to connect with Hashem? Bread and butter. We'll do it. Or healthy food. Okay, healthy food. But, but it doesn't, how much time should it take? Oh, to make healthy meals, it takes an hour and a half to prepare. I don't know if Hashem wants you to spend an hour and a half preparing. Maybe get something a little easier, right? So, yeah, when you're at this, let's be honest, we can't imagine being on this level. But he's telling you when you're on that level, you are so happy. You're so happy. Lahavdil. I'm not comparing this at all. People in a cult are happy in the cult. They've given over everything to the leader. The problem is the leader has very devious plans. Hashem has the best plans. So you're just surrendering yourself and you're in that, I don't want to use the word nirvana, but you're just so happy that you're so well protected. There is no other need at all. So, but yeah, there is. I gotta be a good messenger of Hashem. So now there's all kinds of messengering that you could do. Hashem says, "I want to make Kiddush on wine Friday night." Okay, but don't go crazy spending hours and hours trying to find the finest, best wine to make you, have so much physical luxurious. That's all you. So, great Gedolim, again, I'm not suggesting you're ever going to be on this level on a full-time basis, but you look at people like Rav Steinman, he only ate gruel. And he was happiest man in the world, right? So that's all. The other things aren't going to make you happy. It's when you're totally, this is totally being at rest. That's menucha. That's bo Shabbos, bo menucha. And everything's done on its own. And even when I'm doing things, it's being done on its own. And that's on Shabbos, you're supposed to reach that level. That it's everything I'm doing, I'm davening, I'm eating, I'm this, and it's all on its own. And I'm just the messenger to do this. Okay. I'm acknowledging it's a very high level because most of us are at the other extreme. You got to sometimes know what the goal is. Now, again, many say, well, I don't know if I can live that way because I don't know if I'm prepared to give up my steaks. Okay, so guess what? You've got 3 more levels before that. Yeah. How about start with the first level? Do what Hashem wants you to do. How about not to eat treif? Huh? Let's start with that. Let's be careful in mitzvah observance. Okay, and there is a guy. When the more will be there, but some of us are even struggling with kashrus or listening to everything Hashem says. So how are we going to go further than that? Well, it depends on how well you know HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When you love somebody, lahavdil, you could really tell when people are really in love. Husband really in love. Because when one spouse is in trouble, the other spouse can't think. Can't think about anything else. I don't mean to say if you can, that you're not in love, but I'm talking when you feel inseparable. The wife is sick, you're sick. That's it. There's no such existence other than that. So marriages have different levels of marriage too. You could look as your wife as the king, the queen. Or you could look at your wife as a relative. Let's say I love your wife necessarily, but maybe you'll learn to love your wife. And these are levels, and these levels should apply the same thing. Same thing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a certain way in marriage. It has to be, I don't exist in this marriage. It's Hashem exists in this marriage. If both spouses understood this, you know how much shalom bayis there would be? It's not what I think. You're only supposed to think one thing. What does Hashem want you to think? And when you think it's what when you hear yourself saying I, you're in trouble. And then you think, well, Hashem, now, and then if you're going to say Hashem, then you're going to see how stupid what you're saying is. Hashem wants me to punch you in the nose. Hashem wants me to insult you. Hashem wants me to take revenge on you. Say it. Say those words. Take the I out. And then you hear how stupid you are. Then you realize that there's no way you can have shalom bayis out. Right? But if you honestly say, Hashem, I only want what Hashem wants. And if it's not what I want, I'm fine. It doesn't make a difference. That's why I believe it was Rav Pam. I could be wrong. And I'm sure a lot of Gedolim said this. It was whatever was an issue that Rav Pam was mavater on something. He gave in on something. I think he gave in to his wife, whatever. So they say, look, what's going on? You're a big Gadol Gadol. What are you giving in for? He says, where I was raised, giving in is a virtue. It's something we look forward to. It's a great opportunity to give in, right? Why? Because it's all about Beetle. The main thing is if you understand that Hashem is so real, so you understand that your wife forgot to do something for you, it's because Hashem made her forget. Does that diminish you want to do anything for this woman? So it all comes. So this is very hard. We live in a society that totally doesn't believe any of this. So we think if we're just even Jewish, we're tzaddikim. Maybe on a certain level we are, but we got to realize there's a long way to go. And he's saying it's a state of menucha, real menucha. The blood pressure is low. The anxiety is low. Is that what we want? No. People are getting older, they have higher blood pressure, they have anxiety, all these things. Don't you not want that? So everyone just wants to take a pill. Let the pill do the job. Okay, but it doesn't really do the job. So that's what he's saying. Okay, now number 5. Hey, okay, Shlomo, you had a question.
No, Rabbi, I just wanted to know what was Rick's question. So you answered that. It's okay.
Hey, good. Well, you got more than that. Hey, now we go to the highest level. Even after the 4th is Bittul essential Bittul, which now means it's an empowering Bittul. The essays will now go do something now. Up to now it's been meditation. Now actually go do something. For example, you can all try this. Kagon shiyazis es yado o yadariver. Pick up your hand. Say something, right? And as you're moving your hand, the yargish bipulosivura, and try to feel as you're moving your hand, or as you're saying your words. It's God's light that is in my hand. The yod say darkecha, and it's sending out the energy for me to do this. Avozilla, this is not me. This is not me. This is Hashem. And think about it. Hashem is doing this. Hashem is doing this. Why? I don't have any independent reality. The whole world is filled with Hashem. I'm just a small utensil to reveal this. So that puts it that. But see, but this thought doesn't tie you up. It says I could do whatever I want. No, let's change that. Not whatever I want. I have all the body movement possible to do what Hashem wants. And I'm feeling as a shliach of Hashem. Now, how are you going to do that? You slap your kid in anger. What you're saying is, I'm choosing to hijack the divine energy and to make Hashem awfully upset at me. Right? That's what's happening. And while you're moving your hand, think of the name of Hashem as it's written, just Yud Hey Vav Hey. Because Yud Hey Vav Hey means Hashem is the Mahava. He's the respirator. He makes it happen. So but that's interesting. He said that's the last step, not the first step. You might have thought that's the first step. No, it's the last step. Because then you really, and what this is all leading you to is not to clam up and do nothing, but the opposite, to do. But realize I'm a very, it's like, what was that cartoon version of Beauty and the Beast? Mrs. Potts. Well, anyway, to make it, it's a wonderful movie for children who do watch videos. If you don't watch videos, I'm not recommending, but if they do, it's basically there was a prince, a nobleman, whatever, who was a terrible guy. So he got a curse was on him that he turned into a beast. And all the staff, the waiters, the servants, they all turned into utensils. So the lady who was the
Beauty and the Beast,
waitress, whatever, so she became Mrs. Potts. She became a pot. And the head butler face, I don't know what he was. He was a watch. I don't know. It was different. And they were all animated. They were alive. And they were all trying to get the beast to become normal, because he captured the beauty and to try to sophisticate it. But that was the curse. But it's very interesting because on a certain spiritual level, everybody should know that the best you are is Mrs. Potts. I forgot the names of the other characters. That's the only one that I remember. It's an easy one to remember. But the other ones were, living pieces of material. So just imagine calling yourself, maybe we'll just do some research on the movie, just on what names they call themselves. Call yourself Mr. Cup. That's what you are, Mr. Cup. What is the astrological sign for the month of Shvat? Anybody know? The Goyish name? The Goyish name is Aquarius. Shvat came before Aquarius. And what is the astrological sign of Aquarius up in the Shemayim? It's a deli, a bucket. What's the function of a bucket? Function of a bucket is to draw water from one part and put it to another part. Is the bucket's function to keep what it draws? No. It just holds on to it rarely. It goes to the water source, puts itself inside. Ooh, wow, it's got a lot. Ooh, what a chazer. Why are you taking so much water? To go a couple hundred feet away and to pour it in front of the animals, the people, to give everybody to drink. Would you say that the bucket is selfish, narcissistic? No, he's taking the life-giving force and using all his energy to give it to others. That is the month of Shvat. Shvat is the day that the Torah says Moshe began to make his final 37-day speech and to repeat the Torah. And what was Moshe Rabbeinu, if not a bucket? To take the water of Torah and give it to others. He was a complete Kli of Hashem. That's all he was. So that's why the month of Shvat, and that's what a tree is. What are trees? Trees they take the nourishment from the ground. They take a lot of nourishment that weakens the ground. And it produces these amazing fruits. But did you ever see a tree eat a fruit? It gives it to others. Automates Hasara, man is a tree of the field. That's what you really are. You're Ramish, a tree of the field. And that means what? It means you're supposed to nourish yourself to give it to others. And that's the biggest sign that you're nothing. At the end of the day, what does the bucket have? What does the bucket write in its will and testament? I hereby bequeath what? He probably scooped in billions of liters of water in its existence. At the end of the day, it kept nothing for itself. So that's what he means to say, think of yourself as a Kli. I'm a Kli Katan. I'm a small utensil. I am Shabbat. What do? I do a lot. That bucket puts in a lot of miles, right? A lot of steps, so to speak. At the end of the day, it doesn't keep anything for itself. So that's, so you're a bucket. So we're all buckets. That's what I said. People have what they call a bucket list, which is a narcissistic way of getting everything you want in before you die. Jews don't have a bucket list. We're just buckets. Okay, so now, slowly this is emerging. I've already got the cup mashal. I got the plate mashal. Maybe Hashem will help me, remember I always say with a cup, not if the cup is half full or half empty, but what's the size of your cup? The person says, I have too much on my plate. What are you supposed to do? Get a bigger plate. Smaller cup, bigger plate. And now, what do you want to be? When you grow up, I want to be a bucket. I want to be a bucket. You're that bucket that knows how to pass it on to other people. And these are the 4 levels. Okay, we're going to end it here. Next week when we start, what he's going to do is besides these times, He's going to tell us, and Steve got on that track a little bit. So during davening, he's going to take these four stages we're going to see really go throughout everything. It's going to go through the 4 stages of davening, and it's also the 4 stages of the 4 worlds. The worlds of Abiyah, Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, Asiya, highest world to lowest world. Every name of Hashem is reflecting one of those worlds. The lower world in this world, generally speaking, the best we generally hope for is to be the first level of Beetle, the God's my king. And when you want to go beyond that, you got to start moving into other realms of reality. They're all there at the same time. So when you go to the next level, to recognize that Hashem is, that you love Hashem, you're going into another world, out of the world of Asiya and into the world of Yetzirah. You're going into another realm of existence. And that's another name of Hashem for another realm of existence. Just getting a little too heavy, but that's really what's happening. And really a person should know how to live on all 4 realms at the same time. Much more to think about. We got a long way to go, but we at least have some homework of what to do. Okay, shkoyach everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
An amazing chevra. Good question.